Yeah.
Sairam, everyone.
Sayonara.
Just to recollect what we discussed last week, Swami has introduced the concepts of Chidakasam, Chittakasam, and Bhutakasam. Chidakasam being the Atman, Chittakasam being the first level of reflection of that Chit, that awareness, which along with the Antakaranas, as Swami says, the manas, the mind, buddhi, chittam, and ahankara, create the jiva, and this jiva, through its own reflection, creates the bhutakasam. This is the world around us. And Swami says these are all reflections of the original chit, or the awareness, or the atman. And he says this is actually something like a headache, and to remove this disease of ignorance or delusion, we had to apply the ointment. The medicine is the ointment of vicharana, or inquiry. That's where we were. And Swami says this path of inquiry is not within the reach of everyone. To reach that stage, we have to reach a state of, Swami says, ripe chitta, or chitta which is ripe for that. And that's where we left off. So we will continue from that point onwards. And we will read Sairam. Sairam, Sister Kalyani.
Bhakta, then what should we do to reach that ripe stage? Swami, now we have come to the place from which we started. Have you not got things like japam, dhyanam, puja, pranayama for this? Steadily, through these, you become ripe and become capable of understanding the I by inquiry into reality. For such men, the Atma is not something different from themselves or yourself. All is Atman.
Thank you very much, Sister. So Swami tells us, so that we are all not discouraged. He says to reach that stage of ripened chitta, Swami says we have to follow japa, dhyana, and puja. The word Swami has used in the Telugu Vahini is aradhana, worship. And then Swami about pranayama, he says all the types, all the yogas, starting from pranayama. And so I think Swami refers to the pranayama, dharana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and then samadhi. So Swami says these are all available for us to gradually become ripe, so that we can use the ointment of vicharana, or inquiry. So I will pause there, and others can share your thoughts and comments, please. Sairam.
The ripe is the fruit of knowledge. That is jnana palam, right?
Yes, brother. Yes, yes.
Saira.
Sairam, brother. Is it possible to explain little more on pranayama? Please,
Okay.
thank you.
So the path called Raja Yogam is a very systematic discipline of the mind. which is described to some extent by Swami in the Gita Vahini and also in the Dhyana Vahini. Because that part of yoga is called Raja Yoga, which is a steady discipline. So there are supposed to be 8 limbs of that yoga, starting with yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So you can just consider it dhyanam, because pranayama is the disciplining of the breath itself. So in the yogic parlance, there are people who are attempting to do various kinds of pranayama. But Swami would say it is just knowing that we inhale all that is positive and exhale all that is negative. That is Swami's definition of pranayama. Yama and niyama talk about external discipline, internal discipline. I don't want to go into detail. Then asana is posture, or Swami means you sit somewhere where you are relaxed. So asana also means a state of mind where the mind is at rest. And then it observes the breath, pranayama. You can see the Soham meditation Swami talks about. And pratyahara is control of the senses from external attachment. Dharana is continued focus on one object. So dhara means it should be like a flow of oil without any gap. That's the extent to which we should focus on that something. And then dhyana is meditating on that. And then we reach the state called samadhi, which is more complete merger. The Swami just says these are available for people who take up. And I think anyone who wants to know pranayama and etc., I think Dhyana Vahini is the best place to study. There are discourses of Swami where Swami has talked about this in some detail. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, brother.
I invite others, whoever wants to add something, please go ahead.
Sairam, for the pranayama part, Baba used to mention about, as brother said, soham. So when we say so, we have to inhale, take the breath inside. Then hum, you put the breath out, exhale. So means he, hum means aham. So ahangaram must go. So hum means leave out the ahangara. Take him, he. So take him inside and put the ego outside. So very deep, Baba has shown in these videos, the speeches, very from the bottom of the stomach. No, he had so Baba is depicting this how to do this soham. So instead of the regular Patanjali's pranayama method, Baba is talking this so in that way that he himself has said oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide and other impure gases goes out. So it runs. So oxygen runs to every part of the body and make it active, holy. So after that we can start meditation. That's what Bhagawan's advice in the speeches. Thank you, Sahara.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sairam. I would like to say a few points. No, as Brother Aruno and Brother Sivadas said, that's perfect. I think that's very relevant to us Swami's devotees. That is what Swami has said, that to inhale good things and exhale bad things. And as Brother Sudha said, so meditation and all that. I could add one more thing. Swami always encouraged the Omkaram chanting.
Yeah.
That is, even that is a kind of pranayama if done properly. First thing in the early morning before meditation, that will be a very, very
relevant. Yeah.
yeah. Apart from that, since Sister asked that question, I would say usually Swami has said, and even I think Swami Vivekananda has said, and many other saints, yogis have said that to seriously practice pranayama in the Patanjali, I think there are so many varieties of pranayama. All those things, if someone really seriously want to practice, it has to be done under a direct guru who is very adept in that thing. Otherwise, it's better not, because there could be so many adverse effects possible. That so what is really relevant to us regarding that is, as brothers have already said, and yeah, that's all I want to say. Sairam, thank you.
Sairam, it's very good revelation you brought this one, Omkaram. 21 times in Puttaparthi, they do 21 times Omkaram. No? So Omkaram is the first pranayama actually. Right. So the Omkaram and the Soham meditation, there is Gayatri and the Hamsa Gayatri, Baba say that. So these two gives us enough pranayama for us to go to the meditation part. Yeah, thank you. Relevant. Thank you, Deva.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to share any thoughts or comments, please?
This about pranayama as well. Does Swami say anything about like breathing in for a certain amount of time and then holding your breath and then breathing out?
Yeah, so there are, Swami has mentioned in a few discourses about that. You breathe in and you keep it for double the amount of time inside and so on. But Swami has not given it too much importance, is my understanding. There are various techniques, but one of the things which Swami spoke about is the count should be double when you exhale of what you take in. So that's all I can say. But Swami has also talked about just breathing in a calm manner, at equal level also. Breathe in and breathe out for the same count. Then there are people who hold in, who there's Puraka and all that, So Swami has not dwelled too much on that, but if we want it as a separate topic, we can take up a discourse and study that in detail. So I don't want to just comment on that specifically. I hope it's okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Otherwise, I can send a reference of discourses I will provide, so you all can read and study that. Thank you for those who are interested.
Sairam, I would also would like to add one more thing, that I don't know whether Swami has mentioned these things, and could have, I don't know, should know, but the Kanji Mahapiriyava, he has mentioned about the bread, that these usually, there's the bread goes through the Idagala, Pingala, Shurumune, and those are the main. So but he has said, even without any conscious pranayama practice, whenever we are doing or even thinking sattvic thoughts and activities, automatically our breath goes to the
Regulated. Get
right
regulated.
side, and say, for example, like even he himself said, like when we do bhajan or something like that, it automatically the breath calm down and go inhale through the right side and exhale through. So usually, and he said, even if we go into even deeper, even during bhajan, or if we really lose ourselves in Swami's thought or meditation, the breath might almost even stop. That is like it go to the in the through the Chulamanadi or something like that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, so if we do our thoughts and actions are more in alignment in the sattvic part, this automatically happens. Other than that, yeah, the other things I already said. Sai
Ram.
So,
Sorry.
go ahead, sister.
Okay. Sai Ram. For myself, I learned Patanjali yoga, that pranayama and everything is very, very healthy for the people. For to do that exercise is help us to easy to do dhyana and the meditation also, and lots of health thing is involved, especially in COVID-19. If people practice, is help them to do. But in Sai centers, some of them I introduced, but I don't want to go further in the class, in the Sai, the Sai circle and everything, because everyone says, the before Brother Sivadas and Brother Vimalation talk about the Omkaram and everything. Swami, Swami mentioned very simple way, and that is also like so help us to do. But the people want to do a thing is help them to focus. For me, is very, very helping. Sairam.
So I will just give one discourse reference if anyone is interested. In 1993 summer course, so there are a series of discourses. So I think you should look at the 12th discourse in summer showers 1993. So anyone interested, but I can send the link also for anyone who is interested.
Sai Ram, if you don't mind, Brother Arno, please send the link to everyone. I also want to make a point here. Like, if we look at our breath and our mind, there's a direct correlation. See, sometimes we get mad or angry kind of thing. Then we can see our breath is going fast kind of thing. Say that's the reason people get angry and then they get a blood pressure. So that's the main reason this pranayama, like it's actually it's regulating our mind. That is my point. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
So Sai Ram, brother. So Brother Sivadas brought that Sogam. There's a mantra too. Sogam Dhyana Karo, Satguru Sai Samran Karo. Sogam Brahma, Sogam Vishnu, Sogam Atma Siva Paramatma, Brahmananda Sai Satguru Sai Sarnapado. The meaning of this one, so Sogam mantra, thank you Sai, our great teacher. We are the Brahma, we are the Vishnu. We are one with Sai, and say his name, he will guide us. So whatever we're taking, inhale, so you are leaving outside harm. So when you think about that one, it will build up our meditation too. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam, I think since this topic is being discussed, is an important, if anyone doesn't know up to now, I should point out this, that it's the breath is the gross form of our mind. So as Brother Arul said, and it's generally known, so it is very close connection between the mind and the breath. Breath is the gross form of the mind. So you can control the breath by controlling the mind, or you can control the mind by controlling the breath. So that is the basic thing. Siren.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sairam brothers, the Bhakta's question, the how we should do reach that ripe stage. When Swami explained, Swami indicated there are four things we could do: jabam, tabam, puja, and pranayama. And I was wondering in my mind why Swami has left out the service. When Brother Vimalesan indicated that the words, thoughts, and the action, those three things are synchronized, maybe that would be equivalent to almost to the maybe pranayama, and that also would bring out the same results. Say, for an example, I was wondering, the other community people, maybe they may not be doing jabam, tabam, puja, pranayama in the form of we say, but still some of those, the other religion people, or the other people also, they are in the same level as the atmic level, but in the different form. That's why I was wondering, maybe the service, the service with the motive of word, thoughts, and deeds or action. If those three things are synchronized, that would be equivalent to one of these, the four things to reach out that ripe stage, I was wondering in my mind why Swami left out the selfless service as one of the things we could do to reach out that right stage. I thought, that's in my mind, it popped out. So I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Anyone who would like to comment or share your thoughts, please?
Sairam. Anandi's point is very good. Yeah. Thus, every day, whatever we do with mindfulness and Swami's, Swami's work, with Swami's surrender to Swami, whatever you do with spiritual way, that is karma yoga. That is also, Swami says that action, whatever, Anandi said, that is also yoga, kind of yoga, karma yoga. Sairam.
Sairam, we have to note very carefully note the passage, how the wording is given, no? So don't you have things likes of prayer, meditation, worship, and breath control for it? There are so many things. Brother will definitely agree. There are so many, whether it is whatever it is, active service activities or whatever it is. So, so many disciplines are there. Everything is there. Baba says example. This is an example. So any amount of spiritual sadhana will make us ripe enough to undertake inquiry. And with that inquiry, we can reach to the perfect knowledge state. So Baba said, don't be disheartened. Disheartened to get knowledge, you need the inquiry. But to inquiry is not accessible to everybody. But everybody can become entitled, provided you do these spiritual disciplines. Examples are these four here. That is clear, no?
Sairam, I have a thought here too. We have learned before any sadhana, we have to have a dhyana. So dhyana, Swami said as a basic before in this question, he said dhyana is basic because dhyana, when you have a God always in your mind, when you're serving, even you are doing the selfless service, you have to have a dhyana. That's the basic thing Swami already have said about any sadhana. Dhyana is very important one. So I just want to add that too. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, Naina.
Sairam, sister. Anyone else would like to share thoughts? So just I would like to compliment what Brother Sivadas has already talked about. The Swami has used like. In the Telugu version, Swami says pranayamadi, means etc. actually. Pranayama and on, all the yogas starting from pranayama, Swami says. So Swami has not specifically mentioned karma yoga or seva. But we also should understand that in the Vedas, the first section is called karma kanda, where actions are spoken about. Then the second section is called upasana kanda, where worship and prayer comes into being. Then the third kanda is the jnana kanda, which includes the Vedanta and so on. So the reality is for all human beings, naturally action becomes the primary steps. But for them to get to the jnana state, upasana is essential. So that is number one, I think. So we should understand that to take us to the state of jnana, to understand and appreciate, devotion is an integral prerequisite. It will sort of make us ripe for that. And the thing is, I think Swami has spoken about selfless service. I think we all sometimes think, a little bit of charity here and there is selfless. Because we can't be part-time selfish, part-time selfless. Even when we pray, we sometimes want something from God for ourselves or something like that. So the selfishness is something which does not leave us until we reach the state of jnana and understand that everything is divine. If someone has come to that state, that Swami says can come only through vicharana. So that is without that vicharana, the selflessness state itself cannot be easily achieved. Because if we are 90% selfish and suddenly 10% selfless, we cannot call ourselves selfless people, So our work will not be completely selfless. So we are trying to reach that stage. And so I think all paths, that's why Swami has encouraged us also to engage in service and offer our work to the Lord and so on. So various techniques. But the reality is until our heart is melted by devotion and through that devotion prepares us for jnana or vicharana, we cannot reach. I think this question is, what about other community people? They are also like this. The reality is the concept of Vedanta is not present in most of the religions. Why even Hindus who are practicing Hinduism don't have a good concept of this Vedanta or Jnana, that everything is Atma. Everyone can be speaking about it, but practically. So that theoretical knowledge is only present in what Swami says, Vedas and Sanatana Dharma. And we should also understand that it is not, Sanatana Dharma, according to Swami, is not the property of one community which considers themselves Hindu. Actually, it is universally applicable. But unfortunately, people say, that is not part of our culture. and people may be keeping away. But the reality is everything, Swami, even the concept, the word Atman itself is not present in many of the other religious texts other than the Vedas and Upanishads. So we should not think these Vedas belong to only Hindus. Vedas, it's like, it's the nuclear energy universally. Everyone needs it. Yes, everyone needs it. Does it belong to only one country or certain set of people? No. But other countries may not have the technology. That doesn't mean that they cannot learn, they cannot apply it. So the same thing holds good for these concepts also. So that is my limited understanding, so I thought I will share. So the thing is, we should not say this does not belong to other community. Even within people, Hindus don't have this understanding. So it is this, what Swami is telling is universal. Just because somebody is in grade 4 or 5, they may not have certain concepts, doesn't mean that they are not in the path of education. But ultimately, one has to reach certain levels of understanding if they want to go deeper into a particular subject. So that's all I would say. Until then, they have not really understood spirituality in its full sense. And I think Swami will create the opportunity to whoever, according to their own growth at the right time. But if people think, no, we don't need to learn, then that's their own ignorance is what I can say. Otherwise, Swami wouldn't have come down and spend a lot of time writing and speaking about all these concepts for everyone in this world to learn. If we have reached that stage, then Swami needn't have come at all. So Swami has come, he's explaining, and he's sometimes clarifying, because there are many people who are doing business in the name of teaching yoga, pranayama, and here this is all free of cost. We can all read and pray to Swami and he will guide. So that's the main purpose of Swami's incarnation. So this is very, very important, and I think we should learn and understand and study and practice. Sahira.
Sairam, brother, very good explanation. I like it. The way this is for universe, and I think the NASA they also said the sound is Prapancha. The sound of Om sound is there. Om is for everyone. It's not like for Hindus or for other people. It's all over the Jiva Rasi, I think. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Sairam. So if there is no other further questions or comments, or we can proceed to the next question and answer pair, Sister Kalyani.
Bhakta, but Swami, you mentioned only Japam, Dhyanam, Bhajana, etc. Some advanced persons adopt Maunam, the vow of silence. Of what use is it? What exactly is Maunam? Swami, the illumination of the soul is Maunam. How can there be Maunam without the Atma being illuminated? Without that, merely keeping the mouth shut is not silence. Some adopt the vow of silence, but communicate writing on paper or slate, or they point successively to letters of the alphabet on a chart. All this is pseudo-maunam. It is only another way of talking without interruption. There is no need to attain silence. Silence is ever with you. What you have to do is only to remove all things that disturb it.
Sairam, sister, thank you. So as you can imagine, the Swami himself as a devotee is posing this question. Swami, why are you mentioning only this? What about Maunam? So I think similar question Swami anticipated people will get. So Swami is addressing that. And then Swami is talking, Maunam is, many people practice silence as upasana or, vratam, which is also a type of worship. Upasana marga, it falls under that. And Swami this goes on to say, here that what is translated as illumination of the soul is Maunam. Swami uses the word spurti, which has multiple meanings in English. It's vibration of the Atman, or the radiation of the Atman, or the manifestation of the Atman, or the presence of Atman. Everything is covered by that word spurti. It's completely immersed. So basically what Swami says is, if once we are immersed and the Atman within us is fully active, it's fully vibrating, it's fully expressing itself through us, then that state, Swami is calling it Mauna. Because in that state, our mind will be still, there won't be any thoughts, we'll be in a state of equanimity, everything is achieved. And then Swami says that is the real Maunam or silence. And then Swami goes on to say, people think that but the mind is so active, if we are writing on pieces of paper, the mind is fully active. So it becomes another way of communication, and Swami says that's not. Then Swami says actually silence is actually present in us, and we don't need to make an effort to attain it. He says just remove the noise, and then the silence will be left, is what I think Swami says. So I will stop there, and anyone else who would like to comment or share your thoughts, please do so silent.
Sai Ram, just sharing my thoughts on, and correct me if I'm understanding, when Swami has said the illumination of the soul is Monam, how I am interpreting is, as you as a person realize what is who I am really, the Atma, and the whole this existence of the world is just the drama. We are just part of those, we are just puppets, and director is there just to understand this is just there. We don't react, we don't act, we just watch and then move on. So silence will be there because we just see this is just the drama. So there is no reaction and action is happening. So there will be silence of mind, silence of words, because you're just part of this world. You don't need to do anything. Things are happening. You just go along. That's my understanding.
Thank you very much, sister.
So, Sai Ram brother, here I like to add one more thing, whatever brother Aruna said, that Maunam mean not only talking, your mind's supposed to come to a steady state. That is the real Maunam. If the mind goes around and everything, that is not the Maunam. So the mind is playing a big role here. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, brother Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, brother.
When that river is going to sea, that's make a lot of sounds and going there, and there's a lot of varieties of quality there, but it's supposed to merge with the sea. There's nothing. It's only the sea is there. You can see any difference with the sea and the river. When that we merge with God, we need to God and merging with the God, then we have no our words and thoughts, nothing there. Everything's gone. It's merged with God. There's only this God is there, so there's no different. There's this mountains there, that peace, that permanent peace is there. That's very strong. It's a mountain there. Thank you, sir.
Sairam, I think Swami said this way, only in the shallow water, the waves and noise, in the deep ocean, when there is deep meditation or deep concentration of God, there's not much noise. Sairam.
Thank you very much. There are 2 comments on the chat box, so I'll just read out by Brother Sitaram. Sairam, Swami often reminded us when talking on these sadhana methods that if these methods are futile, if the love for God within us has not increased with every effort, love is alone enough to reach Him. Then he also is talking about 4 stages of prayer as per Taoism. First one is I talk, you listen. Then you talk, I listen. Then neither talks, both listen. And neither talks, neither listens. And that is silence according to Taoism.
Sairam, brother, what is Taoism? It's a philosophy of it's Chinese philosophy or the okay.
So yes, in Chinese philosophy, Tao is considered the original substance, the Brahman, if you want to call it. Tao existed before anything, and Tao will exist after everything. Tao is the one which makes everything function. So it is Tao is the way they call Brahman. So that is a form of philosophy, you can say. It has sort of become less, it has become sort of extinct because of communism in China, but it's still, the philosophy is still drives many of Chinese philosophical thoughts. But it does not have any formal in a form of worship as such, though it had certain practices. They have now become more or less extinct. But Tao is philosophy, yes. There are a few texts which are called, I think that's a good digression, but so I'll just leave it. Yes, Saira.
Sairam, brother, I know this is not like a really something to discuss, but remove all things that disturb. He didn't, but Swami didn't say anything, but he said, remove all the things that disturb to attain the silent, right? That's the illuminate the Atma too. So that disturb part, what is Swami's trying to tell about that? What is the kind of disturbance he's saying for us to be removed?
So the word which Swami is used, sister, is Marugu Parache Vishyamu. Like that, that's what Swami is. Okay. Marugu Parache means that whatever is covering it, whatever is concealing it. Okay, that is the word Swami has used. I think Sitaram is here. He should be able to help complement this. So Swami has used the word Marugu Parache Vishya Vrittulanu. Marugu Parache Vishya Vrittulanu means Vishya means this all material things. Anything, the worldly things which cover it, which sort of hide it from our view, those have to be removed.
That makes sense. Thank you, Sairam.
Swami said, I don't know, Sitaram maybe not there. Yeah, so that's what Swami said.
Sairam, brother, I can read that sentence if you want.
Yes.
Swami says, Marugu Parache Vishaya Vrittulanu Tosi, Veyavalane Kani, Maunam Pondatam, Evari Chetanu Kadu. Marugu Parache means something which suppresses. So, Vishaya Vrittula, as you explained, the external things. So, these things which suppress, we need to move them. Tosi is to push away. Veyavalane kani. Unless you push them away, maunam pondatam, to obtain silence, every chetanu kadu. It is impossible for anyone.
Thank you very much, Siddharth. Thank you. So it's like anything at home, you know, something is there and we put things on top of it. How do you find it? You just remove all that things which are sitting on top of it, and then. But in this case, we are the one who are caught. Everything else is on top of us, so we have to push it aside. Force away.
Yes, so it actually everything external. So the external gives us thoughts running riot in our mind. So all the vagaries of the mind should be removed to see the silence underneath. So the thoughts are coming because of the external attraction, as you said in the earlier, the pratyahara. Pratyahara, through the senses we absorb everything, and the mind is a lot of thoughts, and so silence is not able to be experienced. So we have to remove these everything so that the silence can be understood or observed. Thank you, Sayara.
Sai Ram, just a question on this only. What you have to do is only to remove all things that disturb it. Are we also talking about, I don't know what level I am on my spiritual path? It could be, could it be like company? Could it be thoughts? Could it be my eating? Anything which disturbs me to be more spiritual, to be more quiet, to be more sattvic in my action, word, thoughts, and deed. This is what, can we refer that as well, remove all things?
Sairam, sister. Anyone who would like to comment on this sister's question?
So my understanding, brother, any desire, any sensual pleasure are the one giving trouble. So that's what we have the vairagya. That's what Swami talk about. You have to vairagya, you have to get rid of everything. Then the mind will come calm. So when the mind is nothing there, if it is calm, you can concentrate anything. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much.
Sairam, Swami said on the third line, second paragraph, without that, merely keeping the mouth shut is not silence. That means we have to control our wavering mind as well, as sisters and brothers said, and also actions, sattvic actions and all the good actions. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Just to, sister's question, she was asking, whether it is just thoughts, or what do we push away? I think these things have been taught by Swami using various terms, sisters. So what comes to my mind is, for example, he will say, Tyaja Durjana Samsargam, Vaja Sadhu Samagamam. So Tyaja Durjana Samsargam means push away all the people, give up all bad company, embrace good company. That's one thing Swami said. Then Swami says we should have Papa Bhiti, we should have fear of sin. Deva Priti, we should have love for God. And then Sanganiti. So at many places, then Swami says, don't believe the world, only believe in God. Things like that. So Swami has used various terms to explain the same concept. So it is just not thoughts, but the thoughts come only because of our association with people and things. So we had to keep away from things, we had to keep away from people, we had to keep away from the thoughts. Only then we can really understand. When I say keep away, we should not be attached, we should not dwell on it. We should be able to let go, is my understanding. So I will stop here. If anyone else has something to say.
Sairam, I have experienced this, the thing, whatever Swami is explaining. I shut mouth and keep away whatever it is bothering me. And so many months, maybe years, to calm down, and the thoughts and everything goes away. And normally I practice 48 days like that, some kind of mandala, then it automatically goes away in our mind and give us a peace and thing. I always practice this. It's very, very helpful for the techniques. Instead of talking, keeping calm and quiet and always I self-assess myself, self-criticize myself instead of doing to other people. I go inwardly, whatever mistake I make, and keep quiet and calm. Then it's give me peace and easy to move on. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister.
Sairam brother, I would like to share one of the discourses content which Swami mentioned about Shanta and silence. So Swami starts off saying that Shanta is the very Swabhava of the Manava, and Swami gives some practical tips for keeping away the bad company. So he tells that, for example, the Arishad Vargas are basically the bad company that Swami tells in the discourse. And then he mentions that when you get angry, keep repeating to yourself by maintaining external silence and internally keep telling, I'm not dog, I'm not dog, I'm not dog. Swami tells it 6 times. And then he tells if you are getting bad thoughts or getting something which are, he tells vikara buddhi. That is what he mentions. And then Swami tells if you get that kind of thoughts which are not supposed to be good thoughts, then immediately repeat to yourself, I'm not monkey, I'm not monkey, I'm not monkey. That also he tells 6 times. And then he tells a very easy method of getting shanti or the peace or the silence that we are speaking about uh, at a very superficial level to start with. Swami tells you have to sit in a place, sit in a calm place and just repeat to yourself, shanti, 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 shanti. Keep repeating that how many times so that it will automatically dawn upon you. The shanti will dawn upon you for sure. Swami stresses upon that. So I thought maybe this may be a very simple thing to start with. It will help. I have experienced this anger thing. When I get angry, I keep repeating to myself saying, I'm not animal, I'm not animal. It has helped me, and I'm sure many of you have also followed that. I thought I'll just add that also. Sairam.
Thank you, brother, because this reminds me a situation, not a situation, but we went to Puttaparthi back in 2002, and Swami, for the Canadian, for our region 2, this members, about 500 people, I think, he gave us a special interview on that occasion. And as brother mentioned, Swami was taking the word dog. He was explaining to us, you are not dog. Change the letters, you become God. So we had to remember that. We are not dog, we are not animals, we are God. That is still insist in me. Thank you, brother. Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Sairam.
So Sairam, brother, here they brought the anchor. So for the desire, mind is the responsible for the desire. So when you get the desire, you get automatically anger. So you drop the desire, then you can come out from that anger. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother.
Sairam, we did go through that last paragraph, that exercise, that pranayama, no? We can do that exercise for that, make our mind hard, no, and silent and be quiet and calm. We can do that soham exercise, or that other exercise that we can do that for that, make that mind hard and calm and be silent. That's one I can recommend. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Yes.
Myra, just have a question. So I know Swami is saying that silence is important, but like I think Sister Auntie Ambika was saying, that when she feels upset about something, when she keeps silent, eventually it gets better. But sometimes I find that if you just keep silent and don't talk to anyone, then I just end up ruminating and dwelling on the issue more. Whereas if sometimes I talk to somebody or a friend, then I feel more peaceful and it's like kind of off my mind. Or like I get a different perspective from that other person. So I guess is that okay to do that, or should we try to progress towards not even doing that or relying on other people?
Sister has asked a good question. So I will open it up for others to discuss.
Sairam, Baba has said here, the vow of silence is not a good practice, but it can help us to prevent unwanted dialogues and unwanted feelings coming inside. So in that way, maintaining silence wherever we go is better because less interaction, more concentrated we are. But observing silence as a vow is not going to benefit. Baba explained it because as Ambia agreed, that internal talk is going on there. So the best thing is to do the outward disciplines, and make the mind devoted to God. So the devotion to God through the various means will automatically make the mind silent. So the purpose here Baba is trying to say is that some people, even I have myself seen it, some people observe silence for months or for years also, I know that. And when the devotees, they have some devotees, devotees go, then they ask question, and he write it on a slate, the answer. Or as Bhagavan said, sometimes he pointed out the alphabets of the and saying this one, because the devotees are asking, then they have to say that one. So that's why the pseudo silence, pretension. So the silence has to come. Silence need not have to come because we are silent personified, but because of our desires and the samskaras of the past lives and the present lives, those are disturbing us. So the best way to remove these samskaras and these disturbing thoughts is meditation. That is a recommended thing. Meditation, we are putting a big samkara. Meditation also a samkara, but it's a very powerful samkara we're putting on top of the existing samkaras. So it will suppress that one. And we are going to we experience the silence which is behind. That's what Baba is trying to say here. This is what I could say here. This is my small understanding. Thank you, Sayara.
Sayam, brother. So according to Brother Sivadas, I totally agree that silence, if you are not talking to somebody, you can eliminate the criticizing that other people views and everything. Those kind of things only we can reduce a little bit. But real silence, whatever you said, your focus supposed to be God and say the Namasvarana. So then you are not going to think about the other person. If you are silent, you are thinking about that person, still you're going to get angry. Your focus supposed to be towards God, then you can out of this one. It doesn't bother you. Thank you, Saira.
Brother. Small portion of here. The silence doesn't mean that you're not my understanding from Swami's thing is not, doesn't mean that you keep quiet or not talking. Because words, thoughts need to be synchronized. So only your word is not coming out doesn't mean silent. Your thought, the thought, word, deed also has to synchronize with that. Then I think you will be really having the silent little bit, at least to start off that. That's my thinking. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, Sister Kalyani, I don't know if I understood your question, but I will share my experience, or what I have done is I am one of those people as well who likes to share if something happens with somebody else when I'm a bit agitated, just to calm down. But that person I've identified who will put me on the right path, who will criticize me as well. If I put the situation, that person is not biased because I am talking. I go to that person who will definitely and show me the real picture. This is how it is. This is what you are wrong at. So it calms me down, not taking my favor. So I have found, and I have sometimes reached out to Brother Aruno as well, because that person is very critical. I mean, very honest in his opinion or her opinion. Eventually, slowly, what I am developing is through this study circle and otherwise, that developing the relationship with Bhagawan so that I don't need to go anymore to people. But that's a very small progress. I mean, I'm trying to wait because Swami's timing is very different. He will not answer you right away. So what I do is I calm myself down. He will answer me in a day. He will answer me in a week. And it has happened. But that calmness, I am working towards it while happening a person who will calm me if I really getting upset or agitated, and I really need to let it out, because it's good for my mental health as well. I have to be considered. My mental health is important too, because otherwise other people will be affected. So I have that cushion with me, yet developing my relationship with Bhagawan, where I started relying on his timing and his guidance for me. That's something I have been practicing.
Sairam, I am agreeing on that for the Kalyani's questions. Yeah, it is helping us to further talk and further communication. We have to approach the right people to understand the thing, to who we have to trust, who will explain the situation, what we are making mistake, and we are to always correct ourselves. Some person, the person can guide us, correct us. We always think whatever we think, other people has to agree, but always there is God will be there. Then someone come and say and correct us. Maybe the person God sending the person, because sometimes his dream will come and message will come. We had to follow I heard the Sahunam. Sahunam means the situation, show us to go to the right path. Sometime I got that one also, to say you are wrong, something wrong is there. Then we had to follow the thing. I think that's the way the Maunam will help us. And it depends on the situation, depends on the thing. This is sort of common rule. We have to use our intellect. Swami gave us the intellect to use the right thing and wrong thing. And we are living in Canada, we have to follow the COVID-19 rules in Canadian rules. But in different world, it's a different rules. But Swami gave us the right thing. Sairam.
Thank you very much, sisters.
Sairam, based on all of our discussion and everything, my understanding, the true silence is the utmost stage of dhyana. This Swami also explained, if it's a true silence, the elimination of the soul should be there. So if that is the case, then if I am saying I am in the silence fasting, that means that I am in the full dhyana stage and I am enjoying the bliss of Atman. That's the understanding I am getting from this one. If I am saying that I'm doing the silence fasting, that means that I have merged with the Atman, for that, the number of days or number of months or even number of hours, the true silence means, you are merged with the Atman. Is my understanding correct?
Sairam, sister, Sairam.
Sairam, brother. I just want to add to Kalyani's question here. Yes, but Shivani's Sister Shivani's point of view, I think that's the very good point of view. Mostly you have to develop trust on Swami and talk to him, get the guidance from him. Then you eventually you will get it with this. Always Swami's one of the path of devotion is sneham, so you can develop with that, and I think that is more powerful than going to other people that maybe sometime won't be right. So this I just want to add to that. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to comment or say something? So it's about 10:05. I think I'm just sort of summarize, I guess, and there's nothing more. The sisters have covered well. So, Sister Kalyani, your question is a very valid one. In this world, when we have some issue, we prefer to talk to somebody. That's a reality, because we are conditioned to do that. And sometimes, it's just open discussion also with somebody, clarifies our own thinking process. So that is also, it's something which people practice. But the reality is, whoever we are talking to, themselves are may not be in solid ground. They also will have their days, moods, and so on. So the problem is, we are trying to rely on others who themselves may at times not be steady. And so the thing is, temporarily, if we seek help, it's okay. But as Sister Shivani pointed out, we should, in the long run, learn to develop a relationship with God and believe that if we talk to him, he will solve the problem. And sometimes we talk to him and then the problem is not going away, and then we are a bit impatient. So then we take matters into our own hands, or we give the matter to some people's hands. Because the reality is, in this world today, there are so many gurus, who will say, come to me, I will solve the problem. For a fee, they can solve all problems. Or they can give you a technique of breathing or technique of meditation for a fee. And what Swami says here is, real silence is manifesting God. So that building that relation, which Sister Ananti has talked about very nicely, is merging with God. That is the ultimate state. Until then, we have to rely on each other to some extent. That is why Swami, for example, the study circle is nothing but Swami is the teacher. We are all students together, trying to understand and share what our understanding is. But ultimately, the teacher is Swami. So as Swami says, the real guru is one who points to God. So even Swami himself is telling, talk to the God within you. Talk to God who is. So I think we should be very, very clear about it. So ultimately, that is the goal. And we should not, even if we get other people's advice and, talk, we should hold firmly to what Swami has said and our relationship with Swami. And I think through this process, we will somehow solve all of our problems. That's what I think, and which is nicely described by many of the sisters today. So, Sahiram, those are my thoughts. I don't know whether we should, maybe we can read, Sister Kalyan, maybe just one pair of question and answer, maybe we will read. Maybe we don't need to discuss, but it is something for us to take away and contemplate, and then we can come back. Saira.
Bhakta, but many persons do not open their mouth to speak. You mean that this is useless? Swami, who said so? If you do not use the tongue, if you are silent in order to keep out the external obstacles to sadhana, you certainly can develop your thoughts. You can desist from disturbing others. You can escape criticism and worry from others. You will get concentration. Your brain will be saved from unnecessary burdens, and it can improve much. With such a brain, you carry on smarana of the Lord's name better. All these advantages you will realize when you do sadhana.
So Swami has sort of clarified some of it for us, what exactly reducing our speech will help. So Swami is talking about reducing the speech, talk less. And so that Swami says because sometimes if we share our problems with others may get disturbed. They may solve our problem, but we may have transferred our problem to somebody else, because then they may also keep on thinking about it or worrying about it. So Swamis, and sometimes they will share their worry with us, and that also can become a problem. We go to share our worries and they share their worries, and now both of us have two sets of worries to worry about. So these are things which happen in human interaction. So Swami says, you had one thought, now you have two thoughts to worry about. So I think, we have to, I think, learn along the way. And that's why Swami said, just chant the name of the Lord. So I'll stop here. If anyone has something to share, or your thoughts or comments, please do so. Sai.
So brother, whatever you said is correct. When you have problem, if we go to the person or someone's going to solve it, are you going to listen to that person? Or other party is going to listen. So it's very tough. They're going to say there are problems, please certify I am correct. Other party also going to say I am saying this is, please certify. So now whatever you said, other person also you are giving that trouble, and he is also going to say, oh, my family also this way, it's all going to be a problem. So a better thing is everyone knows the love, develop the love. From the love you can avoid all the anger, all the problems. So that Namasvarna, whatever Swami saying here, Namasvarna, focus on God, then all the problems will be vanished. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam, the last line it says, you will realize all these advantages when you do spiritual exercises. So if we sit in meditation and our interaction with other people will come and start to disturb. So when we really get into the practice, we see how bad it is for most of the time. Most of the time, talking to people unwanted times. So we had to limit our talk to others with the bare minimum, to get on. Working people has to go to work and interact. It is done. That is, we won't carry it back most of the time. So the just talking it may be in hindrance to meditation and the spiritual practice. So God's name, Gayatri or Nam, any name will be good for us. Thank you, Saira.
Sai Ram, I just believe in the world. Half of the, not half, 80% of the problem is people talk. If you stop talking, I think we will resolve the world problem. And I would say in my house, I have stopped talking. Believe me, my household is so much in peace. Everybody's so happy. So I would say if we stop talking unnecessarily, half of the problem will be solved in the world.
Thank you, sister.
So that means that we have to reduce our socializing. maybe the social interaction. Definitely for the certain things we have to interact in the maybe unwanted socializing or the unwanted interactions we should reduce. That's what I got it from Swami's advice. If it is important, if it is relevant, if it makes good things to the other person, you talk. Otherwise, you limit that interaction. That would help you as well as the other person. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much.
Auntie, just to add here, there are some social gathering where you cannot avoid its family and all of those things. What I have adopted is, in that also, I'm silent. Do I really need to talk or just enjoy the company of people? I have seen one of my friend who meditates and who's so quiet. Believe me, throughout the party, you don't miss her. She doesn't talk. And I said, wow, she is there. She is with us, yet she's not talking much, like one word here. Unnecessarily, she doesn't talk. So I have adopted last 1 year. And believe me, people don't miss that. People really not missing my talk at all. But yet I am with good people. I am with my family, not missing this world Bhagawan has created. It's just to share my thoughts.
So final, my thought, brother, whenever you talk or you participate anywhere in the party or anywhere, your focus supposed to be on that liberation. So you talk nicely, you enjoy everything, but don't give up your main aim. That is supposed to be in you all the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. So I think maybe we can continue from where this here. But as all of you talking, something amusing struck me, so I thought I'll just share that before we leave. Study circle is, we are all talking a lot. So we all ask questions and talk. Sometimes, afterwards, we may be continuing the conversation somewhere else also. Somebody said this, that has troubled me, or, is this right, is this wrong, so that becomes a mental conversation. So mind itself, and so hopefully a study circle reduces our internal discussions, and so I think that it's also an opportunity for us to learn. What do we take and what do we hold in our head? What do we just discard? If it doesn't appeal to us or if it troubles us, just discard it. So that also, this itself sort of, even though we read Swamis and we try to understand, we talk among each other, speech can cause challenges, even when it's done very positively. So that's all I thought we can contemplate. And ultimately, if anything comes, I think only one person we can complain to. Let it be Swami. And he will somehow solve the problem for us. With those words, I think we'll close today's study circle. Wonderful discussion, wonderful points, wonderful practical tips for everyone to follow. So Swami says, let's practice. You will realize when you do this sadhana, and he has given the tips through so many of the members who are participants who spoke. May Swami guide us forward. Sai Ram. We'll close with Samasta Loka and Shanti. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram.